Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Jess. I share outfit ideas and styling advice every week here on YouTube. Today I invite you all to come shopping with me. I had a little try on in Massimo Dutti and found so many gorgeous pieces. I tried on a couple of fab pairs of jeans at Free People. I got to see a little sneak peek of the new spring collection at M&S, and then tried on what felt like the entire store in rails because I pretty much loved it all. So let's start with Massimo Dutti, and actually I got really lucky with a couple of days that I spent in London. It was those two very sunny, warm days that really felt like spring. So I was definitely in the mood to shop. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can really see what I'm looking at properly. In Massimo Dutti, what I was most excited about having a look at and having a try on with was all of their different knitted linens that they do. And this is an area I would say Massimo Dutti have really nailed. They've really got this one down. So I started with this knitted tank, and although I'm wearing a large here, I actually really like that quite oversized fit. I think it really works and would be how I'd want to wear it. Now online they do have all the sizes, so if you don't like it so big, there is an option to go true to size. But for me personally, with this kind of top, I just feel very beachy in it, which kind of then warrants a little bit more slouch. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So that was option number one on the knitted linens. Let me sit up a little bit. I'm slouching. Someone told me off on my posture recently. He said, "You really arch your back." Do I? I don't think I do. Now on my bottom half, styled with that knitted vest, I'm wearing quite a full, actually, white cotton skirt. And this is something I've been looking for, funnily enough, since I did that recreating Pinterest outfits. Why am I struggling to say that? I don't know. But in that video, there was a look that I really wanted to recreate. And the woman had a really nice big full skirt. So I've been kind of looking for one ever since that. Anyway, this one is made from cotton. Going true to size with a small, I wasn't so keen on the fit because it sat a little bit higher, which made those gathers stick out in the wrong place, i.e. around my hips and my tummy, made me look bigger than I actually am. But sizing up to a medium meant that those gathers sat a little bit lower, which I just find a bit more flattering across the tummy, or how I would style it at least. I'd find that the most flattering. So I did really like it. I do think I'm going to add it to basket, but I didn't buy it there and then, mainly because I had got about 3 bags with me by this point, so I couldn't face carrying anything else. Now I know we're not exactly in jumper season, but I do personally, particularly in this country at least, find it really handy to have one, maybe 2 really good spring jumpers in my wardrobe. So when I spotted this one, which I think is made from a blend of linen and cotton, I did really want everybody's opinion there and then in the changing room to say, yes, Jessica, get yourself that jumper. I could have really done with all my girlfriends there to tell me to just get it. I was being really indecisive. Again, a little bit like a lot of pieces I tried on in Massimo Dutti, I sort of played with the sizing. So this jumper is actually a large, intentionally so. I really like those a little bit slouchy. The feel was so nice against my skin. Really cool and breathable. It was just that kind of jumper that you can imagine even on your holidays when it's been warm all day but the sun goes down and you kind of get that little chill. That's the sort of piece I would like to put on. Plus I love the colour. So yes, I've convinced myself on that one. I need to go back and buy that too. One item I did buy there and then, and actually only because there was only one of them on the rail, so I was panicking, well, what if they sell out, was this V-neck knitted linen jumper. I think this one is 100% knitted linen, which is maybe giving it a slightly more see-through look. Not something that would bother me personally. And to be honest, I'm just wearing a flesh-colored bra under that and you can't actually see it. Size-wise was a little bit odd because I'm wearing a small here, but I look, I think, like I'm wearing a medium or a large. So bear in mind, for some reason with the V-neck style, I think they're coming up big. So definitely true to size. If you want it a little bit more fitted and you don't want it to fall off your shoulder, maybe consider sizing down in that one. I found a lovely pair of white jeans that I really liked in stores, so I've tried those on, but this is how my mind was working that day. I just kept trying it on with various different pieces, as if that would convince me one way or the other whether I should buy it or not. Anyway, those white jeans I thought were a really great high street option. Maybe if you haven't already got a pair of white jeans in your wardrobe and you're looking for some. They were kind of a mid to high rise, so not too high. Straight leg, which I really liked. There's definitely a bit of room in there. This is me wearing the size 28. So if you prefer your jeans a little bit tighter fitting, I would consider sizing down. Although actually I did speak to the lovely lady in the store and she said they don't really lose their shape when you wash them. So they're not going to go really baggy after a couple of washes. However they fit on the first go is how they're going to fit forever, which is good to know. In all honesty, I have already got a couple of different pairs of white jeans in my wardrobe. Plus actually I've ordered another pair from elsewhere. So I didn't really need them, I just really liked them. that's kind of where I was at with that one. I spent a while in Massimo Dutti, as you can tell, because I then went back to double check that I did actually really want the knitted linen v-neck top, and I tried that on with the white skirt as well. I do really like that combo. That is one way I would absolutely be styling it if I don't get the knitted vest as well. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, that was an interesting one. In all honesty, I mean, I'll show you the footage on screen here. I think it's a cotton dress in a print, which was quite unusual for me, but it was very subtle and still quite neutral. The shape was a little bit odd, but the more I stood in the mirror and looked at it, the more I actually liked it. It kind of grew on me. So I'm not sure. Do let me know in the comment section what you think to this one, whether it's your cup of tea or you think it suits me and I should get it. The waistband was a little odd because you had like a self tie that you wrapped around, it nipped in, but then you had a little bit of a baggy section here. And that was fine. I actually kind of thought that was quite a nice detail. But that gathered neckline, I think, was just a little bit too high. It felt a little bit restricting almost. I don't know. It needed a good iron really as well, so that's kind of a bit distracting looking at it. It's a nice shape on the skirt portion, not so keen on the top, so probably a no on that one for me personally. Now the only thing with wearing glasses is that you do all your makeup, say then need to work on my computer for half an hour, and then take them off, and it kind of messes all your makeup up. I'm quite new to wearing glasses just for reading or for work at my laptop, but if there is a fix for that, please do let me know, because it's really annoying, especially when you have to keep filming. Now, I would imagine lots of my American and Canadian subscribers have heard of Rails because it was born in Los Angeles, I believe. However, if you're from Europe or maybe you just haven't heard of Rails before, you absolutely need to have a look at them because they make the most beautiful collection. So I was very kindly invited by the PR team to go in and have a look at their new Spring/Summer 2025 collection. And I don't think she realized that I would love the collection quite as much as I did. And I was in there for a good hour and a half trying pieces on. I just loved everything, which is very dangerous. Price point wise, I would say it's kind of high end of the high street, so not something that I could buy every single week. However, the quality was beautiful, so you're definitely getting your money's worth. And as I always say, when you're thinking about adding pieces into your own wardrobe, I would much rather have one beautifully made piece than 5 that are gonna fall apart in a year's time. That's definitely how I shop these days. So let me show you what I tried on, because there was a lot. Okay, so first of all, totally loved it, ordered it actually because I knew I will get lots and lots of use out of this. This was a toweling striped set of shorts and a top to match. Now actually they've got a couple of different versions of this top. They've got like a polo style with short sleeves if perhaps you prefer that. But I really like toweling as a fabric and I really like spring knits, and then seeing it as a set and in stripes, well, it's just a bit of a no-brainer for me. I love it, absolutely love it. Just a great everyday co-ord set. So I kept the striped toweling jumper on here, and on my bottom half I'm wearing what I thought was a really great fitting pair of trousers. Now again, it was all about the fabric. The quality of that fabric was gorgeous, like a really soft brushed cotton. It felt very soft against your skin and lightweight too. It wasn't too heavy. Love the shape of those, quite high-waisted, but it just sort of nipped in right at the perfect position, so really, really flattering. I didn't order these, but I kind of wish I had, so maybe they have to go on my shopping list for next month. I'm pretty sure I went true to size with these, but I will double check and add it in the description box below because they're a really lovely shape. And color wise too, if you're not keen on the khaki that I tried on, they're also available in navy. Next up, oh, a pretty dress. So this was just a very floaty, slightly bohemian, beautiful, pretty dress that I would love to wear throughout spring or summer, or both. Love that nipped in waist. Surprising for me to pick out a print, but I think because the tones they've used were really subtle and it almost looked like a painting, I just thought it was much more my cup of tea. I love that shape across the neckline, nice and loose and relaxed. Those sleeves were quite bell-esque, but they had a little bit of elastic at the end, so I've managed to cinch them up a bit, which is probably how I would style it. It's quite nice to lift the line of vision to the smallest part of your body. With me, that's my waistband. So really cinched in nicely at the waist with a bit of smocking detail, and then obviously that full, rather beautiful skirt portion, finishing it to a T. Now actually, this was before I went to Free People because I went to London 2 days running. So as you can see, I'm trying on white jeans again. I must really be in spring zone, I think. It's kind of obvious with my outfit choices, but just another really great fitting pair of jeans. These ones were quite high-waisted with a very, very slight gentle flare at the hem, which I personally really like. I didn't go for them because again, like I said, I do already have a couple of of pairs of long white jeans. But if you're looking for a pair, I would say the fit and the quality were absolutely spot on. That top I'm wearing there, I thought it was the toweling one. This one is actually made from cotton jersey, I believe. I'm actually wearing the large here, and that was intentional because one, it looked like it was coming up very true to size and would be quite tight fitting, but I would probably style this in a similar fashion how I have with these white jeans and just wear it a little bit more relaxed and low key, and certainly compared to the jeans which are a bit more tighter fitting, I thought it was quite nice to have something a little bit looser on my top half. Now onto light wash jeans, and I actually had a little bit of a procrastination problem in their store because I kept trying on quite similar pairs and I couldn't decide which were my favorite. Again, I needed all of you in the changing room with me to help. So these are the slightly bigger version, and when I say bigger version, it's because they come up quite big. So these are actually my true to size 28, and as you can see, they look maybe 1 or 2 sizes too big for me. However, I really like the fit, and it was just very low key and slouchy and very much my cup of tea throughout summer. I'll come back to that shirt in a moment because let me just quickly show you the exact same pair of jeans, but these ones are sizing down twice. So these are a 26, the other ones were a 28. And in the end, I decided to go with this pair, the slightly smaller, slightly tighter fitting ones, mainly really because I was sort of thinking about the tops and blouses and shirts I have in my wardrobe, and they're all a little bit more floaty and oversized. So I personally really like the contrast of something slim fitting on my bottom half with something a little bit bigger on my top half. However, if budget was no problem, I would have probably gone for both because I could imagine styling them in quite different ways, but definitely getting my use out of both of them. But going back to that looser fit of jeans now and onto my top half, this is a really lovely, I think it was like a voile cotton, so very slightly see-through, but nothing terrible that you could see anything. As you can see actually in this footage, you can't even see my bra, so it's not a problem. Just a really nice lightweight fabric as it gets a lot warmer throughout spring, summer. And the other point of difference which I really liked was the shape of the sleeves actually. It's not quite sleeveless, not quite a sleeve, just a little bit of something to make me personally feel a little bit more comfortable, which I do really like. Next up to another piece that I did actually add into my own wardrobe because I think it's fairly obvious. I really like their collection with this white cotton knit. Again, like a lot of pieces in Rails, I played with the sizing a little bit for my own personal taste on the fit. So I'm actually wearing, I think it is, hold on, let me just double check. This one is a medium that I chose, just so it had a little bit more slouch to it, felt a little bit more beachy and summery. And it's absolutely the sort of jumper that at the end of a lovely, warm, sunny day, I would want to slip into, perhaps styled with a lovely pair of linen trousers. I really love the crochet detail on this one across the hem. I think that's a nice touch. And of course, I am always a bit of a sucker for an open work detail with a knit. I do find it hard to resist those. Now going back to the jeans that I did very happily add into my wardrobe, and on my top half there, I'm wearing one of Rails' classic shirts. Now Rails actually became really well known because of their shirts. That's how he started. And I think originally the collection was very played and lots of celebrities caught onto it and were wearing them kind of organically. The brand really took off, the collection got bigger, and here we are with a whole shop full of pieces that I would love to have. The fabric on that is just really lovely. It's very light, very brushed cotton-esque, but quite floaty, and it just drapes almost like it's got a little bit of silk in the fabric, but I don't think it does. And then last but not least from Rails, one absolutely beautiful dress. A little bit like my toweling obsession, I do have a bit of a thing for gingham, particularly in spring, summer. I think the sunshine just brings out either a slightly bohemian side to my style, or I then go pretty with all my dresses, and often a kind of mixture of the two. But I love the shape of this one, how it's quite fitted across the chest, and you've got that really nice detail with the black at the top. So it nips in, it's got pockets, little spaghetti straps across the shoulders, and then of course that beautiful full skirt section around the hem. So many lovely pieces in that store. Honestly, I could have tried on about 50 and very happily chosen all of them. So next up on my lovely sunny trip to London in the sunshine, and I headed over to a PR event with Free People. That was really lovely actually, and I got chatting to one of the ladies who works at their, I want to say Baltimore office. Hopefully I've got that right. Anyway, she was a really gorgeous lady and we had a good old chit chat for about an hour making these. In fact, I'll show you. They had a little charm making section and I was supposed to be doing it myself, but she very kindly actually made this for me, which I thought was very sweet. I love that, and the little moon charm. Very sweet of her. Now I've totally bodged my photos up and can't see where I am. Whoa, we've gone back to 2013. Ah, 2013 and it's little Freddie. Bless him. Butter wouldn't melt at that point. Right, anyway, sorry. So for Free People, I decided to try on 3 different pairs of their jeans, all of which I actually would be very happy to add into my wardrobe, but I did decide on one. So see if you can guess which one I went for. So this first pair, obviously in quite a traditional looking blue denim wash. These were more of a mid-rise, I would say. Straight leg, but not super tight, which I did really like. And what I really liked with that particular pair is the length. I like jeans to skirt the floor as much as you can possibly get away with. It's a bit of a bugbear for me actually when I see jeans too short, unless they're supposed to be cropped. It really grates on me a little bit like fingernails on a blackboard. Totally irrational, of course, but it just annoys me. So to find a pair that were just the perfect length was a little bit like the icing on the cake of a really nice event. So that was the darker blue pair. Then I tried on this lighter version, and as you can see, these are a bit more of a higher waist than the darker ones. However, we're still not talking super high. I'm glad that a lot of stores have kind of got out of that because it's a really hard to pull off and sometimes unflattering shape. But these were high enough to feel like you're nicely tucked in. Again, really great length on these two. And then as we move into early summer, I do really like a light blue wash. Nice seam detailing on those ones as well. And then just a little bit more detail around the waistband, which I think keeps things interesting. And the third ones from Free People was this pair in a crew, which obviously a cropped jean. Again, quite high-waisted, but not silly high. I really like the length of the crop on these. I think that's something that not everyone gets right, but that for me is kind of perfect length. I also like the fact that the stitching was in a different color. I'm possibly a little bit colorblind, but I think that's brown. But it just added another element of interest to them. Plus the shape on that crop as well, it's just jutting out ever so slightly in a really subtle way. So you've kind of got a very gentle kick flare. That for me was something a little bit different. And as I'm such an open book, and you've probably guessed already, they're the ones that I decided to go for. So next up, I headed over to Marks & Spencer, who were having a sneak preview of their new spring-summer collection, which was very exciting to see. And I found loads of pieces that I loved, which I'm sure you're going to love as well. So first of all, there is lots of lovely powder pink to come. I particularly liked that pair of trousers, and I think they had a blazer to match that as well. Then of course, butter yellow is one of the big color trends for spring-summer 2025. And I really, really liked this little crop jacket. I thought it was nice that that one's got short sleeves, so something a little bit different, but done in quite a traditional shape of that classic little cropped tweed-esque jacket. But I'm pretty sure this version was in cotton, so even better for spring. Love that one. Be really nice if they had a skirt to match that, but I didn't see it actually on the rail. Hopefully that is on its way. Getting super into the summer vibes now, which I'm very, very excited about. But I really love this dress as that sort of everyday piece that you would no doubt want to throw on when it gets super warm outside, or maybe on your holidays if we don't quite get the weather for it. I love that drop seam and those pretty gathers all the way around the hem. And also I can imagine that one on being a really nice shape across your chest here. More yellow that I zoned straight in on. But how cute is that dress? I thought that was really, really nice. This particular rail in Marks & Spencer was a bit more summer led. So you've got a few swimsuits, bikinis, the kind of lounge pants that you'd wear at the beach. Some really, really beautiful pieces. And as we know, on top of that, Marks & Spencer are brilliant with their price points. I think they've got that price to quality ratio spot on. I even found a pop of red that I really, really liked. That'd be lovely for your holidays. That's the red dress I'm talking about. And then something with a bit more bohemian vibes with that crochet dress. Definitely my cup of tea. Stripes, of course, are always a winner in my book, but really nice to find one that's done in that chocolate brown, which of course is another colour that we're seeing an awful lot of across the high street at the moment. Gladly so, I would say, because it's one of my favourites. And then I did get a little bit carried away when I saw this this suede jacket and had to try it on over my outfit. I just thought it was gorgeous. And I really, really like the shape. I thought that was something a little bit different. Nice to have it a bit longer than some of the others I've seen in this particular style. But then you've also got the tie belt that you could cinch in if you wanted to. Yeah, I was very happy in that one. There's some really gorgeous pieces out there at the moment from Massimo Dutti with all those knitted linens, Marks and Spencer really rocking it this season, especially with all those lovely buttermilk yellows. I found myself a fab pair of cropped denim jeans in Free People, so very excited for those to arrive. And to be honest, on top of that, just a really, really lovely day in London. I mean, everyone is so much nicer in London when the sun shines. It's like it brings out the best in people. But in between all those meetings, I actually went for lunch on my own and just sat in the sunshine, had a little alfresco lunch, did a little bit of people watching, just spent an hour sat there on my own, really enjoying the moment. It was lovely. So yes, all round a really lovely shopping trip. So hopefully you've enjoyed coming along with me. Do let me know in the comment section below your favourites that I tried on in stores. Did you agree with me on the pieces I chose, or do you think I kind of missed something I should have added to basket? Also, let me know on those Massimo Dutti pieces. I would be very grateful for all of your opinions. I need to add some of those pieces to basket. I'm just having trouble deciding or editing down the list, shall we say. I can't buy them all. So as always, it will be lovely to hear from you in the comment section below. And of course, if you've got a thumbs up going spare, that is always very much appreciated too. As it stands, as of today, I'm planning to have a weekend off for Easter Sunday, which is next week. So if I don't see you then, have an amazing Easter with friends and family. And I shall be back the Sunday after with lots more styling advice and outfit ideas. So hopefully you will join me then. See you later.